All right, hey, we're live. Give us a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear us okay. I actually lost my mic on my way up to set this computer and everything up for the live tonight, but I am sitting in the Renaissance Convention Center, downtown Memphis, Tennessee. As you can see, that is the bridge right there, and then Bass Pro is just right over there. So I'm just in a breakout room. So I've been spending some time in Memphis after our last event, getting things ready for the Twisted Cat Outdoors Fishing Expo. So hopefully the sound is good, but also with tonight, Liz doesn't get to join us. I got somebody much better looking, Micka Burkhart, and let's just gonna chat with him, see what he's got going on. And we've not had him on this podcast, so pretty excited to have him on. He's done a lot of big things in catfishing and just an all-around great guy. So without further ado, let's bring him in. All righty, how we doing?
All doing good. How y'all doing?
Good. It's like I said, I'm down here in Memphis and just getting things ready for the Twisted Cat Fishing Expo. And for the first time in a while, it was beautiful. It was 73 degrees today.
I know. I was on the water today, and it was absolutely lovely.
Yeah. So it was. I still got ice up in my hometown in Warsaw, so we can't. It'll probably be another week or so. But I think it was in the 60s today. So I'm like I said, I'm not too mad about it. So I'm ready for spring, finally.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, give us a little background on some of the followers that haven't met you in person or got to watch you.
Let's get well, I mean, I guess there's really not much that ain't already out there for the most part. I love to catfish. I love talking catfish. I love going to catfishing events. So that's kind of the bigger thing is let everybody know that I want to be there at your event, and then they can hang out, or we can hang out and have a good time. But other than that, outside of catching a couple state records, catfish is my passion, and just living life now. All I do is fish, just to have a great time fishing.
Yeah. So what's your home water? I guess let's start with that.
Well, I fish. So I'm in Northwest Tennessee. So I fish the Cumberland River and Tennessee River in this area. So basically, well, technically it's Barkley Lake and Kentucky Lake is what I fish around here.
And the two state records are on what body of water?
They were on they came out of the Cumberland River.
And you don't really hear a lot about the Cumberland River being a fishery like that. I mean, we don't anyways in the Midwest. So is it known for a lot of big fish?
No, not really. I mean, you can catch some good fish out of it, but if you want to catch, consistent, well, I'll say bigger fish, people go to places like Alabama, Louisiana, stuff like that. It's down the Mississippi somewhere or the Missouri somewhere. But yeah, it's kind of like a little, the Cumberland's kind of like a little, I don't know, little gold nugget, you know what I mean? But truth be told, it's been several years ago, but the Cumberland River was one of the five or top five catfish rivers in the country. It's been a lot of years ago, but it used to be.
Yeah, I've yet to fish that. That's definitely on my bucket list, and it's a good looking area. I mean, there's a lot of nice scenery over there.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's as Spencer called it one time. He says it's a big ditch, and for the most part, he's right. There's not a whole lot of. I mean, you got bank and channel. That's kind of pretty much what it is.
So I guess maybe start on how your first big fish. Is there a certain thing you did to target that big fish? How did your first state record fish come about?
Well, I've always targeted big fish. I mean, that was kind of the thing. I made a decision actually a couple years prior to that to kind of like I've always catfished. I've catfished since I was a kid, but we're talking like go out with some night crawlers or some chicken livers and catch you some catfish, and every now and again you'll catch a good one. But I a couple years prior to me catching that state record, the first state record, I I kind of really want to start catching bigger fish. So I watched like, Steve Douglas and, some of the older folks that kind of learn how to target bigger fish. And I just kind of learned from them, So I started applying that stuff, and turns out I was actually getting fairly decent at kind of finding some good fish. So we're talking, I think my biggest fish prior to that was like that 76-pound flathead that I caught. So I started diversifying my baits, like, bluegills, and realized what a skipjack was at that time, because I didn't really care about skipjack at that time. I was using, like I said, bluegill or night crawlers, chicken livers, whatever. And then once I started figuring that out, started putting patterns together, started learning, started watching other people, as far as like YouTube channels or seminars, wherever the case may be. And there's something clicked, something clicked in my head. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to chase big fish. But unfortunately, the day that I caught the first state record, it was just me and my wife wanted to go on the boat for the day because it was an absolute beautiful day. So I caught some, I don't know, they were like 6-inch skipjack is what I caught that day. And we were just I tossed some rods out. We're just, talking and stuff on the boat. And next thing you know, we got a state record on the end of the line. So it was kind of one of them deals. You work so hard. And then I guess in a way it kind of paid off, because that day we were just fishing a stretch we knew we could catch fish on. So that was pretty much it.
Did you know that it was a giant when it first hooked up?
When it first, yeah. Well, when I was fighting it, I knew it was a good fish. I didn't think it was a state record fish, but I knew it was a good fish. But once it rolled over beside like I seen it roll beside the boat, then I was like, what, where did this thing come from? And then when I tried to get it in the boat, that was when I really knew that we had something special, because I couldn't lift it. Me and my wife both barely lifted it. So it was one of them. One of them is I don't know if you've seen the video, but I don't know if some of the viewers may have seen that initial video. But I captured a lot of them raw moments.
Oh yeah.
In that video. So it was it was kind of cool, you know what I mean? And especially, if that had all worked out to where we get that fish certified and released. That was the best part, really.
So can you give us a little bit of a hint on how, if there was one key takeaway for somebody watching tonight on how you chase or target big fish? Chasing a big fish sometimes is luck, but definitely if you have a few of those recipes to chase them and really target them, what's something you could give somebody that's getting into it?
Basically, just develop a pattern. That's kind of the thing that I know I've talked about a few times, is just developing a pattern. If you fish a spot or area or a stretch, and let's just say you catch, we'll just say your average fish is 15 to 20 pounds. Okay, so I'm not going to say you won't catch a big fish out of that particular spot, area, or stretch. I'm just saying you might want to try to find something different to target big fish, and that's kind of this. That kind of leans into what I was fishing. We'll just say both times actually, was that if I went left or right of this particular stretch area, I was catching 10 to 15, 20, 30s. I'd catch a few 40s, stuff out of that. But it was just a certain little thing that was at the bottom of the river that you wouldn't really find them. I'm not going to say smaller fish, because, a 40-pound fish is a good fish. But, them 10 to 12, 15 pounders, you wouldn't find them out there. And, but it's in relation to where them 10 to 15 pounders were, because that's where the food is. So you just try to target, you build a pattern based on that if you can, because not every spot stretch is going to act that way, but you could definitely expand on where you caught the majority of your fish that day, whether they be, we'll just say 30 pounds or less, and then kind of just move out to it, or out more, or up more, or whatever the case may be. So it's a lot of trial and error to where you develop a pattern. So once you figure out that pattern where you figure out where the bigger fish are holding or hanging out at, obviously time of year, weather, all that plays a huge part in it. But once you figure that out, you can develop a pattern, and then you could hopefully replicate that in other places and come across bigger fish. But it's a definite trial and error. And the whole cliche is also time on the water, to figure that part of it out.
Yeah, true, time on the water. So you say that sometimes it's not good if you're catching a lot of those teenage fish to get away, get something a little bit different. Those big fish don't typically. What about bait? You always hear you don't need, or peanuts catch elephants, or elephants eat peanuts. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree with that 100%. Some of my bigger fish I've ever caught come on the smallest baits I've ever fished. And I say that because I told you the first state record, I caught 6-inch skipjack. That's all I caught. It's all I could find. 6 to 8 inch skipjack. So you cut them in half. You've seen skipjacks that small. So they're not very wide or broad or whatever. So you cut that in half. That's a small piece of bait, relatively speaking. So that's what the first state record came on. Now the second one came on, a big white bass head, but I've caught several, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s that come on just little bitty bluegill fillets, or just little bitty things like that. So but I agree with that 100%. I know a lot of people catch big fish on huge baits, because that's a thing too. But I know that I have caught big fish off of very, very small baits that maybe you'd take chasing channel cat. In my area, chasing channel cat. Yeah. I know there's some channel cats out there.
What about fresh bait? You think fresh bait would you have used frozen bait? You think that could have caught, if you were in that same situation, you only had frozen bait, do you think that would have caught those two fish?
I don't know. I can't sit here and say for certain, for sure. But I do know that I have done several trips with nothing but frozen or 2 to 3 day old bait. And I've done way better on fresh bait. So, but to say that fish wouldn't have hit a piece of frozen whatever, or 2 or 3 day old whatever, I can't say that for certain. I just know, based off the number of fish that I've caught, how I've caught them, and what bait I was using, fresh bait's always been on top for sure.
Yeah. So, you have had, as I'd say, kind of quite the career the last few years. And then obviously this past year, you, Spencer, and Bradley won Megabucks, won $100,000. And it was cool because you guys had a video of that tournament and how everything played out. What's that feel like? Going, as a YouTube and social media person, a lot of that you don't get into the tournament world, and then you guys kind of brought that and mixed that together, which is really cool, and put a spotlight on tournaments. What was your thoughts of getting into the tournament world and kind of winning the tournament? Did you expect it? Did you think you were on fish? Kind of give us that rundown.
I know that, because Bradley was because we had somebody else, a third in place prior to the tournament. Like, we'd planned this out for a couple months. We knew we were going to fish the event and stuff. So Bradley was kind of like the last week addition, because the other guy, he had some stuff come up, so he couldn't come fish it. And so we called Bradley, and he was like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll come fish. It'll be a lot of fun." And of course, me and Spencer, we kind of sort of strategized a little bit prior to that. But yeah, you absolutely have no clue how it's gonna turn out. But day one of pre-fishing, I was by myself, and I absolutely I sucked on that river. So, but it took a couple days for us to get it figured out. And once we got it figured out, it was kind of neat. At the time, we just, I think we got extremely lucky at the time. We caught the fish on tournament day. Well, the last day, because them fish did move quite a bit. We noticed that, but no, like, putting it all together, we knew that we would get some good videos out of the deal. We figured at the very least, the videos would help us make some of our money back. So it was just kind of a fun deal. And plus it was on our bucket list, to fish that tournament, because it was at the time, the biggest payouts, you know what I mean? So, and the biggest tournament. So it was just that we had this mentality, like, why not us? Why can't we win it? We're just as, I mean, I ain't gonna say we're just as good, but we're just as capable of catching fish and, putting our names in the hat to possibly win the tournament. So that was kind of our mindset. And then after day one of the tournament, we're kind of like, uh-oh, this might turn out to be pretty good.
So did you, on the 2-day tournament, did you strategize like day one? For the people that haven't watched the video, did you strategize like, okay, we need 95 pounds or 105? Like, when do you stop? Did you have like day two, were you already thinking of, we're going to go to a spot B, or how did that because that's a lot of strategy there.
Yeah, well, so day one, we figured we needed 100 pounds because there were some hammers out there fishing. So we figured we needed to be in that, the top 25 it was? I think. Yeah. So we figured that it would take 100 pounds just to make, the top 25, which, the weights were kind of off. And I think we finished, 6th or 7th or something like that day. But anyway, so once we knew we had 100 pounds in the boat, that's when we just went searching. I don't even think we fished the rest of the day. We just went scanning, looking, stuff like that. But I'll tell you, the funny side, well, it is kind of a funny side of it. So the first day, them tournaments, everybody runs forever. So they get like fuel cans and stuff in the boat and all that. So I was like, well, I think we're okay. I think we kind of got our gas mileage or our fuel mileage, kind of somewhat figured out. So we only put I think 1 or 2 cans of fuel in the boat. Well, we got to going, as you know, that first day, it was a lot of wind. It was pretty rough water, leaving out that morning. So we burned a bunch of gas, going over waves and, of course, the barge wake and stuff like that. So we burned a bunch of gas. So we didn't even make it to the initial spot that we wanted to go. So we went to a lot of our secondary spots. And, of course, obviously it paid off for us. But it was just kind of funny because we were going, and I'm doing the math in my head. I'm going like, hey, man, we're not going to make it there and back. Like, well, I guess we'll just find a closest spot and start fishing. So, okay. And that's what we did. But, yeah, no, we had a game plan. If we could get 100 pounds, we were going to stop fishing, and we were just going to, work our way back to weigh in or to the boat ramp and just kind of, look, search, maybe find something different that we can hit on day two if we made it at that time. So, but yeah, it was a lot going on, especially when we realized we didn't have enough fuel to get to where we wanted to go. So we're kind of like, now we just got to make the cut, that was the most stressful part, because if we made day two, we were just kind of like, we made it, you know what I mean? Fish, top 25 against, some pretty dang good fishermen.
Yeah.
But that was our biggest worry, was just at least making it to day two. So.
How is it? I mean, as you can tell, if you haven't watched the video, you got to watch the video. But there's definitely some stressful times in there. Netting the fish. We're always talking about the net man is one of the most important jobs.
Yeah.
And like I said, having 3 people. Obviously, you guys are all good friends, but 3 people on the boat can sometimes be tough when you're all bumping. And have the 3 of you really fished together, like bumping before?
No, that was the first time. That was the first time. First time all 3 of us been together in the same boat. What made the big difference is that we got together prior to, and we knew our roles, so to speak. So me and Spencer, I say Spencer mainly, was, we knew that when it comes to bumping, he's our guy. Like me and Bradley learned from him, so to speak. Well, actually, I know for a fact I did. But I knew second best at bumping was probably myself, and Bradley was kind of like, he was really picking it up fast, So we knew that the progression of how things work, it would be Spencer, myself, and Bradley. So, but then I took on the role myself to, well, I'm the net man. Anybody catches the fish, unless I caught the fish, but I'm the net man. So that it actually kind of worked out. I know it kind of seems a little like we put everybody in a certain spot. I mean, we did essentially, but everybody kind of knew, we agreed, that that's how it it would work out better if everybody knew exactly what they were doing. And turns out it worked out great. Everything was seamless, as far as, even up to, fueling the boat, so we can make it back, or netting fish, or culling fish, or, whatever we had to do. Everybody had a job to do. And I think that made it, and the fact that we get along so well, I think that made it so much better. Because you get some, that's kind of why I'm sometimes hesitant of fishing with other people. Because you know this, Alex, you fish with a bunch of people. You get some that are pretty headstrong on what they do and stuff like that. And nothing wrong with it. I mean, they've got their own way of doing things, but sometimes it just doesn't mesh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I've seen that. And that's what I've said is like, you can be a really good angler, but your tournament partner is key, because, you take the Massengales, they're brothers. I'm sure they fight a lot, but, it's just like, I've had some really good partners, even like Liz and I. We are, if I catch a fish or she catches a fish, like, we don't really have to talk about what to do. We just know. Mm-hmm. And like when it's seamless like that, that's tough, getting somebody you don't know in the boat, and you don't vibe together. And it's tough because then, you have your way of doing things and they have their way of doing things, especially if they're two boat owners. You know what I mean? I've seen it, 12 years of Twisted Cat. We see a lot of people kind of go and, their partners don't mix and match. And like I said, you can look at the best of the best, and a lot of them, they have a solid partner, whether it's their wife, their son, whatever. But like I said, it was cool watching the video, just showcasing how you guys work together as a team. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can see it as early as the night before, teams not, getting together, or the morning. Like, they get in such a hurry and they don't have that rhythm where they forgot to do the engines, the plug's still not in, the straps are on the back of the boat. They're not ready to go, and they're in such a hurry they can't, you know what I mean? And it's the anglers that come and they're relaxed. They know what they got to do. It's all seamless. Like those, I can tell you pretty quickly in the mornings on like what teams got it together well. You know what I mean? I think that's important. So what for the future, do you guys see fishing some more tournaments together, the three of you?
We will. We're kind of taking a break this year. For most of this year, because we actually did a lot of running around last year, and as you know, that costs money. So this year we're just trying to focus on, like, Spencer's got some big things coming up. Bradley's kind of more or less in the same mindset I am. Let's kind of relax, kind of build up what we got to build up for ourselves personally. Like me, it's the YouTube stuff and whatever, and try to put back some money. And then I know next year we're looking to fish. I ain't gonna say we're gonna hit the tournament trail pretty hard, but we're looking to fish a lot more of your events for sure. I know the Ultimate Classic is definitely another one we're gonna fish. Probably the Mega Bucks we're gonna fish again.
Yeah, Spencer's having a baby like in the next day.
Well, yeah, that's the big news he's got coming up. So he's going to be busy. So and which is good for him. Congratulations to him and his wife. But yeah, he's going to be busy.
Now I think he said, I talked to him the other day, I think he's back in Iowa. So I can't keep up with him because he was in Alabama for a while, and then he was, I know he loves Texas too. So
yeah. Now he got him a place there in Texas. I was supposed to go down there with him a couple weeks ago, and I just got too much stuff going on here. I had a lot of taking care of the business side of things, and I had to be there for the meetings and phone calls and whatnot. And so I didn't get a chance to go with him, but I'm going. I don't know when he's going back down to Texas, but I know I'll be with him during that time.
Hey, so this is a buddy of mine. That's getting in. He's actually really good at coyote hunting, or the night coyote hunting. But he's been seeing the tournament stuff and following us, and wants to really get big into the tournament world. So he thinks he's got him a partner. And Ozzy, like we were talking about, tournament partners are key. Meshing with somebody. What is your channel again? So I'll type it out so people.
It's just Micka Burkhart. Just search me up on YouTube as Micka Burkhart. I kept it really simple. I'm a simple person, so
that's super simple. So and another thing, I've had actually some people text me when I put that we're going to be talking today. And that's another thing I'm trying to get at on our fishing expo we're doing in Memphis is the new thing, and people want to talk about social media, building a brand, making money, making a life out of it. You've obviously really succeeded in, building a brand. I guess I want you to really hit hard and explain, like, it all looks glamorous and stuff on social media and YouTube, but there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes. And it's not as glamorous, I think, as some people think, but you put a lot of time out on the water, a lot of video editing, and I mean, it is a grind. But tell us a little bit of how, like, what made you start, like, hey, this is what I want to do, this is the path that I want to go. Kind of break that down to where you're at today.
Well, yeah. I'll start with this. So I never had, matter of fact, there was a time where I absolutely despised social media. Like, I hated it. I thought it was a bunch of, people that never really had real jobs or, stuff like that, and found a way to make a quick buck, like that. Just, I'm just being honest. That's how I thought about it. But after I gained, obviously, a lot of traction from the state records, I really had two kind of sort of avenues that I could have went, right? I could have done the guide service, or I could have done social media, because at that particular time, I had a pretty good little following. And I'm not saying that has to happen for somebody to get into this. I'm just saying that's just where I was in that position. But yeah, once you get to that part where you have something to offer, I guess that would be the biggest thing I could say, because there's as you know, Alex, there's a bunch of people like me out there. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of people out there that have been, trying to start YouTube channels, or, even TikTok, or, create a Facebook following, stuff like that. There's a bunch of people out there. And, I'm not saying everybody grind where they can grind, get their hustle where they can. But it's more so you got to kind of bring something, you know what I mean? Because I've seen several channels that I could watch 10 other channels and they're the exact same. But just, you got to bring something. I guess that's kind of what sets, people like Spencer, myself, Bradley, and a laundry list of other people that I know of. They've got kind of like unique channels. So I guess that'd be the first thing, is figure out what's missing and fill that void. But outside of that, I mean, it's just be honest, be real. I know a lot of people make a lot of money off of not being real. I do know that, that pays also, but I don't know. I mean, it's whatever you can live with, is what you could do. But if it was me personally, if somebody asked me that particular question like you did, it would just be real. Don't be somebody you're not, because in the long run, you may get the views and likes and whatever, but I think when it's all said and done, I don't think the respect factor will be there. In the long term, I don't think it will be, especially once people figure it out, and they will, because a lot of people, they're pretty smart people, so they can see through a lot of the BS that's out there. So
yeah, and like I said, I've been watching your channel for a long time, and it's and back to what you said, it's a grind. You really got to stay after it, and there's a lot of people, like you said, that have tried and got into it and realized, wow, this is a ton of work. This is not for me. And, I think that's the difference between, stepping up and then you got to go. I mean, and it's not going to be overnight. I mean, you might have a couple of videos that go, you asked Liz, I mean, her TikTok is going to be viral someday. She had 1 or 2 viral videos within the next 300. So, I mean, you really got to stay after it. And post every day and really give people your true self. And, traveling around, like I said, you guys came to the Alton Classic last year, and it was unique because you and Spencer and you guys had people there that was waiting to see you in person.
Right.
That's something that my goal in the sport is, as it's growing very rapidly, is finding, those people to build up in the sport. And, it's like you said, we had a really big crowd last year. I mean, a really big crowd.
Yeah.
It's cool when people come to see certain people weigh in. I mean, that's what's really awesome.
Yeah. It's that's definitely, as far as the crowds and getting people, which I talked about this in a video of mine the other day. But back to what you were saying about, people get started and they kind of quit. The thing about social media, and I know that you and probably several others can say the same thing. It is literally what you put in it is what you get out of it. So you're not working a 9 to 5 job where you put the hours in and you expect a paycheck, or you already agreed on a certain paycheck you're going to get if you work set out. Say that. But as far as social media, you are not going to get paid if you don't put the time, effort, everything you got to do into it. And that's what I honestly, now that I'm on this side of the whole social media thing, like I was talking about, I hated it before, but I love it now because it is basically it's an effort based pay system, right? So you're only going to get out of it what you put in it. And if you think that you could do just mediocre stuff, where you're going to get mediocre results. You have to put in the time. You have to put the work in. You have to do all things. So, like, prime example, I fished. We had a massive shad kill on the river that I typically fish. So fishing is pretty much, catching fish is pretty much non-existent right now. So now, like today, I went out, I fished, I got a good video, and but I had to come home after 8 hours of fishing, edit that video, and get it posted. You know what I'm saying? So my 8 hour day turned into a 12 hour day, or 10 hour day, depending. So yeah, you only get out of it what you put into it. That's a bona fide fact on this social media stuff.
It is, and one thing I've learned the last 12 months, I think, is it's getting tougher. Like, you have to really commit. You can't just put one good post up today and then wait 4 days. I mean, you've got to really, people, I don't know, it was that Jim Carrey movie years ago, where they follow him around. Like, everything he does, they've got a camera on him 24/7.
Yeah.
You really got to show people, who you are, what you do, your favorite food sometimes. I mean, it's weird because, Liz has really been putting in a lot of social media the last 6 months. And now, like, we were out, an hour away from our house going into Dick's Sporting Goods, and some people stopped and said, "Hey, we love your videos." And weird, like, and I know you get that a lot too. It's just pretty cool seeing, but like I said, that's not going to happen overnight. There's not a lot of Jesse Lances out there that's going to catch a giant fish and blow up like, he did. So, I mean, that's tough to do. So Jesse had a little help to continue to grow, and now sky's the limit for him. But
yeah, absolutely. But he deserves it, and I say that because he does put in the time fishing, and he also deserves it for the way he handled that fish. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
He knew there was no possible way that he was going to keep it alive long enough to get anything done with it. So he took what could have been, I don't know, if it was a world record. I mean, I know there's a pretty good paycheck that comes with a world record.
Oh yeah.
But he let all that go. I mean, he took the I'm not going to say the honorable, but he did the right thing by the fish and let it go, instead of killing it and then whatever. So, like I've said this many times to him, and plus on other podcasts, I commend him for doing that. That takes a hard decision at that particular point, and he made the right one. I feel.
No, 100%. Like I said, he's really starting to put media out there, and it's. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you see from your side, but it seems like the sport, the people that are getting into it, it is definitely picking up and growing fast. I mean, I see a lot of people that even just friends of mine that don't fish or care to fish, like, they see what's going on, and it's pretty cool watching more and more people get into the sport as it's growing. I mean, even like on the tournament sides, I mean, the sky's the limit. It's just what you want to put into it. Just like this fishing expo, like it's our first one. We wanted to combine something, so we've already got something that we're working on for 2027. With the tournament aspect, but it's just getting people together, and man, it's just super fun. Like, the camaraderie of these events. For the last couple of years, it's even like in Texas, terrible weather, but so many people still come out to hang out and buy some merch and just talk, and then go out to dinner, and that's what's cool to see that grow. And like I said, there's a lot of good people that are doing a lot of good things right now.
Yeah, and that's what that was kind of well, I'm almost positive we would have got into it eventually, but that's what I was going to say about you in this event. The more eyes that people we can get involved to our sport, because it really is a sport. I mean, it's no different than bass fishing, crappie fishing, any of that stuff. Because a lot of work goes in it, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of effort, a lot of time. But what I like about these shows is that it brings a lot of times it brings a lot of new eyeballs to it, right? That or in a renewed respect for the fish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I love about these shows. I love supporting all the shows that I can go to, even the ones I can't. I still find some way, to try to support them because I think it's a great deal. I really do. And what you're doing with this expo, and like I know we talked the other day about it. I really hope it does grow. I hope it, at some point it becomes a staple. You know what I'm saying? To where people look forward to that stuff every year, because all it does is it brings a lot of like-minded people together. And if not, it brings a lot of people together to just basically understand, the mindset of people like me and you. These fish are kind of our livelihood, so to speak. I mean, this is, and a lot of other people in this sport. We rely on these fish for so much. Whether it be the eaters for food or the tournament winning fish or things like that. We all kind of rely on these things, these fish for a lot of different reasons. And these shows like that just kind of highlights how important these particular fish are. You know what I mean? And the more people we can bring in, like I said, with your show, you're going to have a lot of people that probably never catfish show up. I guarantee it.
Oh, so, yeah, it's and something I've seen. I've been working for CR for 3 years and going to a lot of boat shows for them. And just as Twisted Cat has grown so much, one thing I have seen, especially the last two years of shows, and even this year, is like I went to Coleman, Alabama, and they had 3 or 4 catfish specific vendors, which is very rare. You don't see that, or you hadn't seen that in the past. And then you go to Kansas City, they had state record holders there. They had Bluff City. They had Show Me Catfishing, a lot of catfish specific there in Kansas City. So, you used to just have 1 or 2 shows, and now there's a lot of shows that are starting to incorporate a lot more catfish.
Yeah.
And, just like with Twisted Cat on the tournament side of things, we're trying to really grow. It's not about having 500 boats or whatever. We want to have a great turnout, but we also want to have a great turnout in the spectators. And I think, Alton really showed you that. If you remember that last year, like we get a lot of spectators in Alton, and we've really grown that. It's cool to see families come down. And that's why I love looking at those pictures. Like, I remember that 3 years ago, there's barely anybody there. So if each year grows and grows and you learn how to do that. And I mean, like I said, look at what Memphis was. I got to MC that the last 2 years. I mean, it was wild, the kids there, and it just really puts eyes on the sport. And even for the Memphis show, we've had a lot of people from Vicksburg like, hey, we just, we want you to have a tournament. Is there going to be any fish there waiting? We want to come watch. But so it's just continuing to grow and grow. But I mean, it's awesome. People like
talk about
too.
Yeah, you were talking about the kids. That is the one thing that I absolutely love. And even I get a lot of parents that tell me that they allow their kids to watch my channel and stuff like that. And I think that's probably the number one thing that I think that I love about all this. And like you talked about the Memphis tournament. The kids that were there, that was pretty awesome. I didn't know that they'd be wanting stuff, right? I had some with me, so I gave away personal stuff off my boat. But it was just,
they wanted everything. You wanted your fish gloves and anything you had that day.
But it's cool to see that though, because whether they pick up catfish or not, at least they'll understand as they grow older, just what the sport is like, or what it means to us up there on the stage, or you running the event. They'll understand that in the long run. So it's kind of and maybe they pick up the sports. Maybe they one day will be carrying the torch. You know what I'm saying, as far as these shows or tournaments or whatever. So that's kind of neat to see. I mean, for me, that's really neat to see the younger generation get more and more involved. And, and we'll just say even the other, shows that we've done, the amount of children that I've seen there, that are excited, they get a new rod or whatever the case may be, jersey, hoodie, fish hooks, they're just excited to see it. So that's kind of neat to see also.
The kids, that's something we changed the rules this year where it was 3 anglers and then 12. Actually, it was 3 anglers and you could have a 4th. Then this past year we went to as many 12 and under as you wanted, and then this year we went to as many 14 and under. So you can have 3 adults and then as many 14 and under as you want in the boat. And there are a lot of kids. Mm-hmm. And I know this is crazy. We didn't really have a youth award until last year. And the reason is just because I guess I had to see it firsthand, like the benefits of how big of a deal it was. So we went to Milford last spring, Liz and I and Rhett went to Milford with Benji Stoller, fished a tournament, and we got 4th place. But he knew that they had a youth award because they talked about it the night before. And it clicked because by that afternoon, Rhett didn't care if we won the tournament, got 10th. His only question was, do you think I won the youth award?
Right.
We got 4th, and he was the highest placing youth, and the next one was 5th place. So that night, that trophy was everything. He took that plaque into the dinner. He took that plaque to bed. That plaque went to school on Monday. Yeah. And that is when I'm like, wow, this showed me firsthand. So from then on, we started doing youth and lady anglers, and they've really grown. Like I said, we usually used to not have a lot of youth, and now last year it really exploded. So that's why we went to 14 and under, as many as you want in the boat, and just to really promote that and get it out there and promote the youth of the sport. I'd like to see some youth, like where we can almost sponsor some youth anglers to kind of, even if they maybe their family don't have a boat but they're really interested, to kind of get them in the tournament setting where they come maybe help me for a day and get to go out for a couple hours, but really want to push that.
I'd say just fuel that fire if they have it for sure. Because there's, as we know, there's worse alternatives, but just fuel that fire to wherever you can. And I try to do the same thing wherever I can. That is a neat deal, and I really do hope that you get, and I'm sure you'll come up with some sort of new little program for the youth anglers and stuff like that as this evolves into a little bit more time. But I would love to see that. It's kind of neat to watch them little kids, just a smile on their face. You know what I mean? But it's like you were talking about, winning that plaque and stuff. That's kind of awesome. You don't get to see that a lot these days if you pay too much attention to the news and TV and whatnot. But it's just cool to see that in a setting that you could be part of, or whatever. So it's just neat.
Yeah, no, like I said, and even the ladies that have gotten into it, a lot more lady anglers. We've got some lady YouTubers, some social media stuff. So even like Liz, she's always fished and had fun and a big part of Twisted Cat. But the last 12 months, she stepped up big. I got to throw that out there that, without her, but she's out there. I think she honestly likes to fish more than I do. As crazy as that.
I was going to say that. So some of them lady anglers out there, they're probably some of the more competitive and that's what you're saying. They want to fish even more than like I do. And I was like, golly, I fish a lot, Yeah.
No, and that's what's fun. Like I said, everything is just growing, and I don't know, I love it. It's it's wild to think what do you see in the next 5 years? That's what I'm trying to do with the show that we're doing is growth and where do we need to go with things. And I'm looking at, I haven't released yet. I honestly, because I haven't had time. But if you've seen the picture Liz posted this morning, which is a terrible picture, but I'm working on a computer. She's driving because we were in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. I was literally working on a bracket that I'm working on for this year, where we're going to pick some certain anglers. and do some brackets, 1v1 stuff to see, you know what I mean? And this is definitely the start, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Find 12 anglers, do some 1v1s on some certain bodies of water and see where it goes, you know what I mean? So
right. Now that would be a lot of fun. That most definitely would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And like I said, we did that a little bit a couple years ago with Brian and Mike Mitchell, and it was a lot. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, because there's a lot of planning, with internet and computers and cameras and all that. But I think we've got to a point where we can do it, have it live. I think one of them, Liz and I, are going to go against each other, but we're going to do the brackets. So you're going to see that very soon on Twisted Cat. If you obviously follow this page, you're following Twisted Cat, but I want to travel, pick a couple anglers, maybe have the community pick some, and just see where it goes. Like I said, we've got some big things coming that I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you get all the stuff ironed out. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, when Brian and I did it, that's probably been 2 years ago now. In the fall, we went down to the Red River, and that was the most. It was you can't even really express your feelings of how that day goes, because we started off from we put our boats in at the same ramp, and then we could just go, and then from 7 to 8 a.m. it was the mystery hour that you can fish, and then whatever you catch goes in your live well. Well, I had a terrible morning. I mean, I just did. I'm not gonna lie. And Brian didn't have a terrible morning. He caught a couple fish, but he was kicking my butt the first couple hours, and I'm like, this is bad, because now I'm live, and he's beating me by like 70 pounds, and people in the comments, like when I go back to, I'm mic'd up, but I go to sit down and I get ready to put in gear. My phone's here. I'm looking at it, and he's going back to the boat ramp. He might as well just go home. I mean, the comments are tough to read. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we got out of there, and I found a new spot, caught some fish, ended up coming back, beating him, but then we weighed the mystery fish, and then he beat me. So, like, you couldn't have wrote it better. It was just such a fun thing, and we learned a lot. But I mean, I really want to play off that and really get back into the 1v1 stuff.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty neat.
People, because a lot of people can watch your videos and get a lot of content, but like when let's say me and you did a 1v1, they're gonna see, like, we're live. We can talk about what we're doing, like we can answer questions, and it really helps grow that community. And it's, like I said, it's just so much fun. So I'm super excited to kind of get back into that.
Yeah.
So if you start seeing, you're going to see a post here probably after the expo, because I am just full throttle on getting this dialed in and perfect. But after the expo, you're going to see a lot of big things. So, yeah. Maybe you'll be on that 1v1. What do you think?
Hey, I wouldn't mind it. I'm up for a challenge.
Sean says, my money's on Liz for sure. That hurts, man. That really hurts. So what, I guess, tell us a little bit about you got some sponsors. Tell us about your sponsors. I think you've got your own rod, right? Which I need to get a signed rod from you.
Yeah.
I have a collection of things I'm building. I can see that you got like your trophy room and behind you. That's what I'm
through Bad Cats, they have their state record program where I got to basically design, two rods now. So they're my signature rods. And they're pretty cool. Each one's special. The last one I did was even more special. It's kind of like my, recognize, the military type world that I was in, and plus all the, veterans and active duties and service members stuff that are out there now. Just kind of something to show a little love, But the biggest thing about that rod, and I haven't said this in a while, but we kind of got it broke down because I make money off of each rod. I make $10 off of each rod that's sold. The first one, that money, which I actually put it all together now. So basically, the second rod was any money that I made off that rod, I donated to veteran organizations. I just, whether it be local here, or, I mail a check to whatever. But I've actually taken the money off of both rods now, and that's what I do with it. Because it's kind of a good deal. I always said if I ever got into a position where I had a platform of some sort, I didn't really think it'd be like this, but if I ever did, that's something I wanted to do. So I wanted to take care of, our veterans. And, because when my era, when I came back, from deployments and whatnot, there really wasn't a whole lot. There really wasn't. There wasn't no programs. There was a few, but there wasn't a whole lot. Now what I support or what I donate to are not necessarily programs, more so they're outdoor trips. Like I sponsor a couple trips with people that go fly fishing, or catfishing or crappie fishing or a duck hunt or deer hunt. You know what I'm saying? So those are some things that I do with that money, and not so much because we got the VA, we got the military system, we got all that stuff that takes care of the clerical side of whatever people come back with, but there's still the whole quality of life thing that kind of sort of sometimes gets neglected. So that's what I do with that. But
well, thanks for your service, man. I seen that you is this your first year at the Quincy Fishing for Freedom that you signed up for?
yes, yeah, I've been trying to make it the last 2 years, but I've always had something that popped up that I just couldn't go, something last minute for whatever reason. But yes, I'm definitely going this year for sure. Going to be there. I hear it's an awesome event, so I can't wait to experience that.
Yeah, so I live just really 40 minutes up the river from Quincy, and I've been helping. We do the weigh-in at 19 and 20, and then Nate Moore that fishes a lot of the Twisted Cat stuff. He is the president of Fishing for Freedom. So
okay,
we have a pretty big board, a lot of volunteers. Man, it is a super thing, and it's so awesome to be a part of that. And the stories, we've had some of our videographer that does a lot of our Twisted Cat stuff has done some videos for Fishing for Freedom, and man, they're tough to watch without tearing up. Like I said, it's there's a lot of stories from over the years of saving lives, just being a part of something, and friendships that are made. And you know what I mean? Like I said, if you've not been a part of a Fishing for Freedom, and I know there's a lot of Fishing for Freedoms out there, but the one in Quincy, we have around 200 boats, whether it's bass, crappie, catfish, and we fish on Mark Twain Lake, the Mississippi River, some other little lakes. It is an awesome event. And the drive, which I don't know, where do you plan on fishing? Have you got that set yet?
20, pull 20 around fishing. Yeah.
So I'm going to be collecting some $20 bills from you, I'm sure then. But so the drive home is incredible. That's my favorite part of that event, is the drive home, because it's about a 45-minute drive from Hamilton, and we go through, the city of Hamilton. They'll have the fire department and all that. We get all that arranged, and we parade for 45 minutes, and we've got motorcycles and the boats. Everybody's got flags out, and then we go through a bunch of other small towns and then down into the Quincy bottoms, and just to see, that we live in the best country when you drive and you see all these people out with flags out in the country. They got their side by side and they're waiting for us to come by. That is right. Super cool. So
yeah, I can't wait to experience it for sure.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I think we've already filled up the Warrior registration. So boats will. What
did you say? That was only up 24 hours that you had it filled. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll be excited to see how many boats we get this year. Like I said, I think it's around. I think we were at 190. It varies each year, but I'm doing a big push on the catfish with, obviously, again, Nate's the president, and we're pushing the catfish to be pretty big. So one thing we did split up this year is pool 19 is obviously channel cats. You don't get any blues up there. So to kind of make it fair, we're splitting 19 and 20 up. So 19 will be its own tournament. Not that it's real, and it's not about the tournament, but it is, because it just, even a lot of the Warriors maybe know some of each other now over the years, and they even kind of go back and forth. So I don't know. It's a lot of fun to be a part of. It really is. You're gonna have a blast, I promise.
I'm looking forward to it for sure. I've already talked to a lot of people that have been there, and they say it's that. Well, I'll have to agree with them, because I've never experienced anything like it. So I am really looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, and what's cool is the amount of people that are behind it. the volunteers. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's incredible. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on that you won't even see just because you're in another part of it. But, we send people out to the vets home in Quincy, and then they have a pond and we help them fish. So, there's trap shoots, there's just so much, but the Saturday night dinner, it's a nice sit down dinner and it is awesome. And then Friday night you can come. We do another dinner Friday night to meet your warrior. So like I said, this year Fishing for Freedom is going to be historic, is what Sean Cannon said. So yeah, it's cool also for an event like that to see. I remember the first one I went to, it wasn't a lot of catfishing. And then now, we have really pushed that, and there is a ton of catfish anglers, that's some of them fish Mark Twain, some of them fish down towards Hannibal, 21 through 24. But is the weigh-in public? I'm not too far. Yes, the weigh-in's public. So like Mike and I will weigh our fish up in Hamilton. We'll put them back in Hamilton, and then we'll record the weights, and then we'll send them down to Quincy, and then we'll drive through the weigh-in again. And then they'll talk about what weights. They'll say, hey, this warrior was weighed in this, and then this is the boater. Now, if you fish the Quincy area, you do weigh in Quincy, but everybody still goes through that Quincy weigh-in, and it's all the flags, and it's awesome. It's super awesome. Yeah, you'll not be treated. Yeah, Sean Groney fishes it a lot. Like I said, a lot of catfish guys fish it. I mean, the parking lot during the nights are crazy with all the catfish guys out there telling the stories. Troy's one of them. Yeah, there's Jordan coming for you. I don't even Troy, where did you fish? I think him and Jordan fished pool 21, maybe down in Quincy. What made you choose pool 20? Let me tell you. Let me guess. Spencer told you.
Well, no, that's where dang it, Anthony's going to fish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where he's going to fish. We figured we just kind of work together in the same pool. Gotta find some fish, and that bait would be probably the biggest one. But no, we just wanted to kind of because me and him, we get along pretty well, so we'll figure out something just so we can get some fish in the boats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's cool because it is a tournament. It's a tournament, but it's not like everybody works together. Like there's times where, hey, I'm on fish. Get over here. I don't care if we need to tie our boats together, but because
I don't honestly plan on reeling in anything. I really don't. So I just want whoever is in my boat, whoever I have, I would at least one fish. I would like for them to catch at least one fish. Hopefully, like catch more. But we'll just have to see how it all plays out at that time.
Yeah, no, that won't be a problem. It's fun because I usually have 2 guys. Sometimes I've had 3, and I make them do everything. And I always laugh because when they're trying to net the fish, I mean, they're going back and forth, and it just. I always say I remember my first time, but no, they have a blast, man. Where do you guys want to go? You pick a spot, I'll go there, and it's super fun. Yeah. Troy said he came in second behind Jordan. I think Jordan caught a big flathead down in 21. Yeah, Jeff, we'd love to have you, man. So we'll do a post tomorrow or tonight, and if you've got questions about Fishing for Freedom, let me know. I can answer them. Just give me a call, shoot us a message. And again, if you get a chance, I've got the video posted on here. I'll do another one maybe this week of showcasing. Have you got a chance to see the video from? I think it was 2 years ago. It was kind of like that's a pretty cool video, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I seen it for sure.
And that video kind of really showcases what that event's about. You know what I mean? The whole thing. And it's super awesome. Yeah, just like Nick said here, we all help each other out. Yeah, he got a 67-pound flathead. We didn't. I don't know if those are certified scales or maybe somebody on a scale. We're not sure, Jordan. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but Tom was there taking pictures, and like I said, it's which Tom might be fishing this year. Tom just bought him a boat. Yeah, Troy said the parking lot turns into a bait exchange in order to get to people on fish. It's so cool seeing an event like that. Everybody work together, man. It's awesome.
I mean, I do that regardless if it's that type of tournament or not. But it's just from the stories that I've heard so far, I'm so looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like there's motorcycles when they get fired up and lead the parade, and then we'll have some behind us too. Like it's just, I don't know, man, it's super awesome. So I'm glad to have you. And we're gonna grow. We make a goal. I got to find out. I missed the last board meeting, but what our goal is for boat count. Obviously, we hit warrior count at record time, so pretty excited about that. So you're sponsored by Mad Cats, is a big brand. You've got your own rod. Two rods technically. Who else do you work with or?
Yeah. Work with the G3, PC Fun. It's a laundry list of people that I'm either affiliated with or they're a direct sponsor. Let's see, there's quite a few off the top of my head, but I can't think of them. But yeah, no, of course that's what makes the machine work. You know that. I mean, sponsorship's key. You gotta have some sort of a revenue stream coming in, or a lot of this stuff dries up. But yeah, I work with a lot of good companies. I kind of go back and forth on the whole sponsorship deal because I try to do all this stuff on my own, but I realized kind of late in the game that you can do a lot of good working with different companies. Not so much for the monetary gain working with a company, but you can work with like Ironside Catfishing. Like I work with them guys, or work with John, and they come out with EVA floats. You know what I mean? So I took one, and I'm like, well, heck, we could make this better. You know what I mean? And so I sat down here, I redesigned it, and and he's definitely doing better off, for having that new design on that float. But just little things like that I love working with companies with that, they take my feedback, you know what I'm saying? Even Whisker Seekers, maybe here in the near future, we'll see how that plays out. But, work with them guys with some new stuff. It's kind of a neat deal. Once you kind of get into the not so much the commercial side of things, but I'm thinking of the industry side of things. It's kind of neat, just like with Spencer, he's just kind of sort of the same deal. Just trying to make things just a touch better, a touch different, something a little bit more appealing, that all it needed was just a small tweak, and I guess that's kind of what we all do. It's kind of what, you do, just in a different manner. But I learned that, working with sponsors or companies, you could definitely better yourself, obviously, and you can also better the company based on, how they conduct business is kind of one of the bigger ones. But I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I got quite a few people that help me out with the YouTube channel, myself personally, Tailwater Marine. They're the people that take care of my boat. They latched on at the very beginning, which I thought was kind of neat. So they take care of the boat, and all I got to do is just like this weekend, I got to show up. They're doing a boat show, so I got to show up there and try my sales pitch, sell some boats. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a good salesman, but I'll go out there and shake some hands.
Yeah, people like to talk to you and shake hands and out. And like I said, every show you go to, every tournament, every event that you're a part of, and just getting out there and getting your brand out there is a big deal. That's something I want to kind of push with Twisted Cat, to help people push their brands. And, it's cool watching the three of you guys fish like mega bucks. And you have, you're with the Mad Cats, Spencer's with Catch the Fever, and Bradley's with Rip and Lip. So like three different rod brands, and you guys can get along, and there's not issues. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of people look at like, oh, he has a Sea Arc, or he has Catch the Fever, or this. And I mean, you can't be associated. And I think we got to really kind of push that mindset out. That
absolutely. That was kind of the one thing that we had talked about, and we actually kind of made jokes about it a little bit, just playing back and forth. But that really is the thing, because it's not about the brands, and I've said this a bunch of times. It's about the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the collective minds of the sport. getting together, for one common cause, and that's to try to go out, and have a great time catching or chasing these fish. It doesn't matter what you use. There's a lot of great products out there, a lot of good people, a lot of great companies, all that stuff. But if we, like you just said, we get rid of that mindset, we come together, man, I'll tell you what, it's an awesome, awesome experience. And you take it, even a tournament, for example, you've got pretty much every make and model of boat that's out there. You got people using every make and model of rod, reel, line, hooks, whatever. But, we're all there to do one thing, and that's have a good time and catch fish. I mean, ultimately win said tournament, but we could go have a dinner and everybody's just talking, having a great time. We're not, downing somebody because of said brand or whatever. And that is kind of, I know it's, like you said, that is kind of one of the things that I have noticed, not so much here lately, but I did notice it, a little early on, about brands. That was one of the things that, was kind of like, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, use what you want to use. If you feel confident in it, that's what gives you your best edge. By all means, use it. You'll never hear me complain one single bit, but because I'm going to use what I'm going to use, and that's it. So,
yeah, they all catch fish. I mean, like I said, it's. I think when the companies start working together, and that's like even with this show is, nobody's excluded. Everybody's welcome to bring whatever. Everybody has been contacted. If not, I'm a phone call away, and that's what I'm excited about this show is to really bring everybody under one roof and just have fun. And like I said, whether you're a Mad Cats guy, Catch the Fever, or Sea Arc or G3, or it doesn't matter. I mean, it's because competition's good, and getting everybody together helps build it. You know what I mean? If everybody's hating each other,
like I've always said, competition drives innovation. So if you can combine the two, it does nothing but makes this sport better. Whether it be through equipment or like you're doing tournaments, stuff like that. Each one is better than the last because you have come up with a different way to do things. Like you're talking about, the whole the youth angler thing, the lady angler thing. You're making it more inclusive to a lot more people. So it's doing nothing more than just making it better. So, like I said, competition creates innovation, and once that happens, like you've said before, sky's the limit where we can go with the sport. We I don't know if it'll ever happen in my lifetime, but I think we'll get to a place where we're really, really close. Maybe not quite as refined, but like some of these bigger bass tournaments or these bigger crappie tournaments, stuff like that. So I think we'll get there at some point.
Yeah, I mean, just especially looking at how we did, the Bama Blues this year. Like I was stressed about like, do you go to $1,000 and how does that look? And I was like, man, I set a goal at 70 boats and it sold out. I was like, wow, now maybe we're on to something. And I think,
Right.
Just keep pounding away and getting good people involved in it. And, I'm not perfect. I'll never say that I am, but I'm trying, everything I try to do just, for the angler. I think it helps that I'm an angler at heart. And, even like these podcasts, sometimes you got to throw them together. Like I said, I'm in a convention center in Memphis, and it's not my home office, which is a lot easier to do stuff on the computer. But
right.
Just getting out there, getting the word out there, and cold Delp. I think Micah is there. He's but man, I'll tell you, a lot of my friendships, this is 12 years of doing Twisted Cat, and 12 years is a long time. And I always, my first tournament, I was in a Chevy Tahoe. I had a weigh-in bucket, a bathroom scale, and a notebook. And I only took cash. And it's came a long way. And I mean,
Right.
3 years ago to where it is today, it's came a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what is next? Because like that's where I'm at. Is like there's so many opportunities. It's just like, which one do I chase next? Like I really want to go down this 1v1 path. And play with that a little bit because that is exciting to me and that's what I want to do. So that's why I'm going to go against Liz first and see if how far I can make it in the bracket. But yeah, right. I want 12 people and have some fun with it and keep growing. Texas was our first time last year. That was really good. And then we went back. Obviously, the weather was terrible, but had a blast in Texas. And, we're expanding. In 27, we'll be in the East Coast somewhere. So, like I said, there's a lot of things that we're expanding and love to do. And even these podcasts, like this is a blast being on here with you and just learning your background and where you came from and where you're at today. And like I said, who knows where you're going to be in 3 years? I mean, you keep growing from here, man. It's wild.
Right. I'm still asking myself that question, but I just live it day by day. Do what I can each day, and I just let the chips fall where they may. When it comes 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I think if like you right now, you've got a goal with this 1v1 thing. You work it, and 3 years from now, it could be a team of 5 against another team of 5. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be something like that. Kind of like with me. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 years. I know I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but I just, what's next? You know what I mean? So, but like I say with that, especially with that 1v1 thing, which I've got some ideas. We get together that this coming weekend, or what's it, next weekend? Next weekend. We get some time. We'll sit down and we'll talk. I got some ideas.
Yeah. Because again, that helps build the sport. And there's so many people like, I didn't put a lot of focus on my lives or even the podcast when I started the podcast, but then stuff happened. It's like, well, I can't be here Monday night. And I didn't make a post. I was like, I'm just going to miss a couple, whatever. And people were messaging me like kind of upset. I'm like, sorry, I'll at least start letting you know. And then, it's tough because now Rhett's 11, going to be 12. Right. And he's playing some pretty serious basketball. Like we've got a tournament this coming weekend.
Yeah.
So like tonight I missed a game. He's playing Carthage. Did he win? I mean, he's at that level like where it really sucks that I'm not home watching my 11-year-old play because I don't get that time back.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
It is what it is, and I'm trying to make it where I've got more time. So you'll see some Mondays where I do miss, and I make it up on a Tuesday or Wednesday because he's got something, and obviously family is important. But it's definitely when you get into this game, that people say, man, it looks cool. You know what I mean? Like the social media game and stuff. And it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a stressful, you got to make a post today or you got to do this. And then especially like, my big stress is, we got to get 100 votes for the Alton Classic. We only had 63 last year. Can we hit 100? And how do we do it? And, it's just that grind. And, but it's fun. Like I said, I put it together like I'm out there fishing against everybody, and but I don't get to. So it's like I said, it was fun watching you guys. Being able to MC River Monsters and watch day 1, day 2, and man, that's awesome. And I'm so glad you guys had a video of the whole event.
Yeah,
really put it into perspective for me because I was wondering like, how do these 3? It's their first time together. They're bumping. It's tough sometimes. Especially like your first time with having a third person in the boat and you're bumping and you're getting tangled up, and like that was cool to watch. And the fact that you guys are 3, you're sponsored by 3 different rod companies and hooks and all that. Like that's cool, but you work together, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
Twisted Cat Live is the man's version of it's soap opera. That is so true. I like that. Oh man, yeah. Michael said you're only young once. Yeah, I know. Like I said, it's so that, like I said, it's just the growth of the sport. You have a lot of people that say, the naysayers, like, oh, the sport's not growing. Like I don't know, I don't know what you see, but like in my eyes, dude, it's like I can't keep up. Like it's just growing so fast, and there's so many opportunities. It's like what's next? Like I'd be doing a fishing expo or a $30,000 plus championship that's no entry fee. Like, no, like where does that come from? And it's just growing every year.
Yeah, no, it's come definitely leaps and bounds as far back as I can remember. When like I've always catfished, I've paid attention to it, stuff like that, but it has come leaps and bounds. And pretty recently, I'd say the last 10 years, it has come just a huge step forward. It's just, we, in a way, we got to kind of keep it going. You know what I mean? And there's like, you've got a few avenues and stuff like that. People like myself and, Spencer Bradley and like I said, another huge handful of people that do the whole social media thing. They're all big influencers as far as like bringing eyeballs to the sport, how fun it can be. And because it is, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And to actually showcase, a lot of it that it don't cost a whole lot to get into it. I mean, you don't need much to start. I still think back to the days when I had a little 14-foot V-bottom boat with a, 15-horse Merc on the back of it. I pulled so many fish over the side of that boat. You know what I mean? And like the guys that kayak fish and stuff like that. So, I mean, you could definitely see where it was to where it is. It's not, it doesn't have to be glamorous. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be all the fancy stuff to get into the sport for sure. And I think,
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, my first boat was a 1984 24-foot pontoon with a hard top and a 70. I think it was like a 78 Johnson, 70 horse. And a lot of the times I have to pull start it, take the top off, wrap the rope around, and yank her up. And I had a giant like trough up in the front for my live well, and it went 12 miles an hour. And it one of the pontoons always had water in it, so I'd have to pull it out and then let it drain for like 15 minutes. But that's how I started. I mean, everybody starts somewhere, and then you just keep after it. And I just got more and more involved and just couldn't stop, man. And it's just like today, I just want to be a part of it and grow it.
Yeah, once you get started and you start finding success, I guess that's kind of the bigger thing. Like if you really change that mindset that you want to get better at, and it's not even so much I would say catfishing, but better at anything really. Once you change your mindset where you want to get better at it, you're going to do it to a point where it becomes a passion, and then once it becomes a passion, well, hopefully you got somebody that's good with money, like my wife. She's real good with money, because this passion of mine would break us tomorrow if I had a whole checkbook anytime I needed it. So, but yeah, once it becomes a passion, man, you want to do everything you can. Just like you with these tournaments, this shows, and all the stuff you're doing. You could tell it's a passion. Like, I mean, it's something that almost consumes you at times. I know it does for me. But you just want to get better at it, and you want to be better for it, so to speak. I guess that's all we can do with anything we all do, whether it be fishing or not. But I know for me, this has become years ago, but it has become my passion, and I just want to see it, because I'm so passionate about it. I want to see it become, a little bit bigger, a little bit more refined as far as how these fish are dealt with. And I'm not just talking about the fishermen, I'm talking about everything else. And make it to where, your kids, kids, have an awesome sport to continue for generations.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I think as long as more and more people get involved and it grows, and, I mean, the tournament side, the social media side, if you took all the social media and the tournaments, completely just wiped them out right now, then who really cares about catfish? Who helps push the needle? I know Julie with Run and Gun is doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you don't see. Nate Moore is doing a lot of stuff in Illinois, and there's people there that you don't hear about. You might not see a lot of posts, but I mean, there's definitely things going on behind the scenes that I see, just maybe because I talk to so many people. And then once it starts to slowly go, I mean, Roy Harkness and Bill Dance just they had a meeting last week in Arkansas. So, I mean, there's a lot of things going to help protect the sport for the future. Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. And we need more and more people to help do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, that's where ultimately it's going to lie for the future. I mean, honestly, it really is. Because these fish, they're kind of getting it from both ends. You know what I mean? So you got the mainstay of, it's a food staple. That's one of the bigger ones. And then you got us on the other end, using them for sport and whatever, which obviously our side, leans more towards putting them back in the water they live and all that stuff. But the other side, like I said, they're a food source and they have been for many years. So that's not something that's going to go away, I don't think. But the in between portion is what we got to look at. Like a lot of the illegal stuff or unnecessary stuff. We can take care of that. We can take care of that middle stuff. The two ends will be just fine.
Yeah. And I think, even the last couple of years, 5 years, a lot of regulations have happened for the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Good. Let's see. Somebody had asked, if you had one place, and it's something I want to ask you too, if you had one place, like what is your bucket list place? Like before I die, I have to fish this river, this lake. Where's your
I can't remember the name. Is it Venice? Where you go down there and just like pound 40 pounders for 8 hours straight. Is that it?
That's it. I mean, that's one of the places. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's definitely it. Out here, I've had days where I've caught, several 30s and 40s in one day, but nothing to the extent they said they were catching down there. Like where they were taking breaks because they were catching so many big fish. And I think that's something, I mean, it's obviously doable. I can definitely do it. But that's definitely something I want to do. That's definitely a bucket list place, because me and Spencer's already talked about that, but we don't know when we're going to get a chance to go down there.
It's fun. I think Liz and I went 3 years ago now in the fall, and I remember you can't replicate that anywhere. Like it's just it's like shooting them in a barrel. I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
never even heard of it. Never even heard of it for anywhere else.
Yeah. No, it's an awesome place. Bobcat said that wasn't our experience down there to stay fogged in all weekend. Yeah, and the fog can get really bad, So we had our championship be just west of Norco, about an hour west of New Orleans, Baton Rouge, that area, in Morgan City, Louisiana, which is the Chaffalaya River. And the day one, it was good. We could go out just normal time. But day two, the fog rolled in, and we had to push the tournament back almost 3 hours before I let them even go to the parking lot. So the fog in the winter fall and winter is really bad down there. So and then Liz and I went down there for a week during Christmas with Rhett, and some days we didn't get out till almost noon because it was just, especially with Rhett in the boat, I'm like, it was bad. I mean, I've never seen fog like that anywhere in my life, and it just lingers and lingers and lingers. I did a video. We did get out, like it cleared up around the town, and we went down towards like the Gulf, and then we got down there, and the fog that blew in, and I used my map to get off the main ship channel, like 20 yards, and we're spot locked, and we're fishing, and then you can just hear like a ship coming, but you can't see it. And the boat that I'm in, I don't have AIS on that. So I'm like, it was very stressful. So I remember I sat down at the seat and I started the boat, and I was just, I was like, well, I know we should be fine unless that ship gets off the channel. But when you've seen it, all you can see is the top, because the fog is dense and low, and you could just see the top, and it looks like it's coming right at you. And I freaked out. Oh my God.
Oh man.
It freaked me out. And it went by, and I did a video, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, you got to have radar. So I'll have radar on my next boat. Just, radar is key down there when the fog is wild. I've been lost in the fog. I mean, it's wild down there. Just like JR said, the fog will get folks killed if you're not mindful. Fog is wild down south. And that's something like, until you go and notice that, like, and put it in for the first time, like it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so JR, I know JR just went, I mean, he's going out in the big boats out quite a way, so I'm sure he sees a lot of that too. And a lot of them are running radar. Have you ever ran radar before?
I've never have, no.
I have in two different boats. It's, the first time I ran it, it was very weird because I'm just looking at the screen. Like you can't even look at the front because it's just nothing.
Right.
it takes a little bit to get used to, you know what I mean? But it's definitely something to have. Like I said, we got lost or not lost, but we had fog roll in on a lake once in Louisiana. It's 5 foot deep is the max, but it's real big lake. Lake P is what we call it down there, Paylord. And it was, spooky. What was crazy is nothing, like all of our cell phone GPS, the GPS on the sonar, everything just completely quit.
Wow.
And it was wild. So we just went really slow until we found the bank and then followed the bank up. And then the next day, the line showed where we were at. And it was wild because when you think you're going straight, like we really weren't going straight. And it was crazy, man. I mean, it's until you're in that situation, I think JR can agree. Like, it is spooky. I mean, you're in fog when you can't see outside of your boat. I mean, that is some spooky stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're going to go, you just be mindful of that, especially Venice is, compared to Morgan City, to Chafalaya, Venice is a lot of traffic, a lot of boats. There's a lot of people fishing like for reds and stuff. Morgan City's a little bit more low key, but still it's just dangerous. I mean, anytime on the water, you got to be prepared. And, I always wear a life jacket, make sure we got some type of radio. And, but man, you'll fall in love with it down there. Don't just catch catfish. You can catch some big gator gar and reds. And we got into some serious gator gar this winter down there, which is pretty fun.
I'm all about
it. Yeah. So what kind of plans do you got then for the rest of this year? Anything big you're doing or chasing, or big videos, or anything special you got going on?
No. I mean, nothing special. Still, obviously I'm chasing that next state record. Is what I'm chasing. I chase that every day.
Number 3.
But no, I want to get into a lot more flathead fishing. I got more into it last year. And did okay. I didn't do as good as I wanted to, but I learned a lot from last year. So I want to do, dive into a little bit more this year and just go after big flathead. Well, still going to chase blues, obviously, but, when I get the opportunity, I want to start chasing bigger flatheads and, see if I can beat my PB, because right now my PB is 76 pounds. So I want to try to catch one bigger than that.
That's a giant flathead.
It was a giant flathead.
I mean, I have weighed some big flatheads. Do you agree with this statement? Be honest. Do flatheads look bigger than they are? Like, yes. I've had some people bring in flatheads, and I'm like, that's 70 pounds.
Yeah, well, it's because they're so broad.
Yeah.
Right. But if you lay them flat and look at them this way, then you're like, oh, well, okay. But if you hold them up, like people grab the bottom lip and they hold them up like this, and they cover this area, yeah, they look huge. But which you've seen a lot of flatheads, they've got a big wide head, big wide gut, and then you get past the back end and it really narrows up. So it's but yes, would you hope they look huge for sure, bigger than what they weigh. That's a fact.
Like, pictures don't do, like, blues are bad enough, but flatheads, like, if you post a flathead picture, it depends on how you hold it.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes everything. But like I said, there's some that come to the scales and I'm like, dude, that's 70 pounds. It's 46 pounds.
Yeah.
But it looks like an absolute tank. I mean, it could be your head in its mouth, but it's only 46 pounds. I mean,
and a lot of that is because you don't really see that many of them. So you'll see you'll see twice as many or 3 times as many blues, for the most part. And so you're like, you could gauge, like I can gauge a blue, like, all right, so that's roughly, X weight, you know what I mean? But like a flathead, if I see a flathead come up and he's a solid, we'll just call him 30 to 50 pounds. I'm like, this is a giant. It's a huge, humongous fish. Then when I go to weigh it, I'm like, oh, well, still a good fish, where I thought he was much bigger than that.
So are you going to target flatheads with live bait only? Is that your plan?
Well, live bait. But to be honest with you, I've caught more big flatheads on cut bait than I ever did on live bait. But yeah, I'm still going to use live bait. I actually found some spots last year that I really fished hard last year. I just hit it at the wrong time. So there's going to be, which I know, like I'm talking like pre-spawn-ish time and right at post-spawn. is going to be the time that I fish these areas. But yeah, I'm going to target them as far as, baits. I guess that's going to kind of determine, what I've caught a few on prior. But like I said, honestly, I've caught more on cut bluegill than I have anything else. Now, could be because I fish a lot of cut bluegill during them times of year. That could be it. But I know that I've caught 50s and 60s, 40s, 50s, and 60s consistently on cut bluegill. And then I would have I'd have like 2 or 3 live bluegill out. And then I'd have like maybe 1 or 2, cut pieces, and that cut piece will get hit first. But now that's just my experience. I know a lot of other people that, they swear by it. They could have the opposite. They could have a bunch of cut bait and 1 live bait, and the live bait gets hit, so. But we have a lot of flatheads here, but nothing like I've seen in some other places. So it's kind of one of them, we don't get that many opportunities at huge flatheads.
Yeah. Chris Wallace is asking, do you scale the gill or just cut and use?
It depends. That really all depends. I mean, sometimes I scale and fillet them, just use the fillets. Most of the time I just cut them, or some of the times I'll fillet off one side and then, cut it in half and use that. It just depends. I mean, obviously the fish will kind of tell you what they're preferring at that particular time. Like I said, I've even went down to, I wasn't getting bit on cut bluegill. I wasn't getting bit on anything unless I scaled it and filleted it, and I put both fillets on the hook. Then I was getting bit. So these old fish are pretty picky sometimes.
Yeah. Where do you think, what body of water holds the biggest flathead, would you say? Like if you were like, okay, my goal is to catch my PB, I'm going to go to this body of water because it holds the biggest flatheads per capita. What do you say?
I mean, obviously I'm biased, so I'm going to say the Cumberland River. I do believe the next world record is going to come out of the Cumberland River. I do believe.
What is the world record?
What's it, 143, I think? Or are you talking about flathead?
Or flathead? What are you thinking about?
Oh, I don't know. What's that, 120 something, I think it is?
I can't even imagine what that looks like.
Yeah, but I do believe the next world, I'm not going to say the next one, but a world record blue is going to come out of the Cumberland at some point.
How many 100-pound fish have come out of the Cumberland that you know of?
3.
3.
Yeah, but now I say that to say this. For a better, because like I've been fishing this area, the Tennessee and the Cumberland in this area where I live at for about 20 years. And during that 20 years, I've caught several fish that were 50 plus up to 80 pounds, right? So, and they were released. All them fish were let go. So I don't know how much of, a cat like that puts on in a year. I'm guessing what, 1.5 to 2 pounds a year they put on as far as weight, just a rough guess. And as many as I've caught over them years, they're out there. I know they're out there. So there's been some 90s caught. There's obviously a couple hundred's been caught. The state record that I broke was 112. That was a 96. So even back then, there were still fish over 100 pounds. But it's, they're just far and few between. Yeah. But just based off the fish that I've caught that I know that are still out there, the average weight of fish that I've caught, whether it be blue or flathead, and I think it's out there. I mean, just in my head, just based off of all that, Tennessee River holds some big fish. It definitely does, depending on where you're at. But I still think little, somewhat unknown rivers like that will hold a record fish. Just like west of me, like the Duck River. Have you ever heard of the Duck River?
No.
Big flatheads in Duck River. Big flathead.
Never heard of the Duck River. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, so like the west of me, it's a little bit deeper, slightly wider, but you go east, it becomes a little bit narrow and a lot shallower to where you got to have a jet boat to get down it, you know? So it's just, but little rivers like that are just kind of more or less sort of kind of untouched. You know, there's some big fish out there for sure. And I do believe, now, like, again, I'm biased, obviously, for my river here. I do believe the next world record is coming out of it. Not the next, a world record. Let me rephrase that. If somebody can catch one tomorrow out of somewhere else.
How does the flathead bite, in your opinion, the flathead fight compared to a blue cat fight?
I mean, give me a flathead all day long. I love fighting flatheads. And here recently, I dare say that the sturgeons they fight better than a flathead.
I've only caught one sturgeon. It was with Seth Macklow and Rhett. Rhett got to reel it in, and it's actually the one sturgeon we've ever caught was on video, and I'll never forget it. I'll have to do a little clip of that. And I just remember the rod just steady down, and Rhett's just real, and he's pretty new at it. He's like, it's a big one. I'm like, okay, 6-pound channel cat, 10-pound channel cat, and then literally a couple seconds later, just up in the air. I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. Yeah. It's a big one.
Well, like I said, we have had, I know for a fact, it's been probably closer to 15-ish, 16, 17 years ago they actually started restocking sturgeon back in the Cumberland River. And so I'll just say this, all them years I've never caught one. Never caught one. This year I caught 4. Biggest one, matter of fact, I'll show you this. I finally got this in the mail today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's my certificate. That was a 57-incher that was, well, I weighed it. It was over 50 pounds. But anyway, but like not even just me, but a lot of the guys that fish this stretch of river that I fish on, there's been over 30 sturgeon caught this year out of this stretch. We're talking, it's, you know, a pretty good stretch, about 40 miles. But there's been over 30 sturgeon caught this year. I was like, all these years been fishing out here. But anyway, so little story behind this one, this fish here. So the 56 or 57-incher that I caught, they gauged that fish to be over 30 years old, almost 40 years old. And so their restocking effort didn't start till, we'll even go back as far as 20 years. They may have started restocking sturgeon. So this fish is either, well, it has to be a resident fish because there's a dam above me and a dam below me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of neat to know that fish has been around for about as long as I've been alive. So kind of neat.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
But the fight on them dudes, when I hook into that one, I would have sworn that I had a huge flathead. Because he didn't come out of the water. I haven't had one to do that yet. All of them have dug.
I wonder what caused it in the water.
Yeah, no, maybe it's a water temp thing. I don't know. But this one here, he was just dogging like a flathead would. He'd let me pull him up off the bottom, then he'd go straight back down to the bottom. They'd let me pull him off a little bit, he'd go straight back down.
So what do you think it was then, for the first few minutes? Did you think you had a sturgeon, or are you like, oh, this is a giant flathead? Or
no, I flathead. I was flathead all day long until I come beside the boat.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep, he didn't make no huge runs. He just kind of swam, real slow, and then like when he felt that depth change when I was pulling him up, and that's when he would kind of he didn't scream to the bottom. He just kind of like, nope, I'm going back down. And then he'd peel line, and right there at the end, that's when I had to start thumbing him, putting the thumb on the reel, because I had to get him up. Because there's 2 things. 1, I was getting tired. 2, I know I was stressing the fish. So I wanted to hurry up and get him in the boat so that we take care of it. But yeah, I just swore it was a flathead all the way up until I got him inside the boat.
That's awesome.
He figured over 5 foot long fish. That was quite a surprise.
Yeah, that's a huge surprise. Yeah, like I said, we've only caught one. I think years ago I had one hooked that I just couldn't get. I mean, it just kept going straight down because there's some big ones on the Mississippi. We've seen some big ones caught. I know Cody Vickers caught a pretty big one last year in Pool 20. But yeah, no, that's a fun. There's a lot of cool things. That's what catfishing. You just never know what you might catch.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So how did you, somebody actually asked a little bit earlier, you're out there fishing, you catch what you think is a state record. What is your procedure? Obviously now you know twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the procedure? Like what did you do? Kind of go through that.
Well, the first one, obviously I was just kind of dumbfounded. I didn't really know what to do. Luckily, I had a live well because that boat that I had didn't have a live well initially. So I built a toolbox live well because I was getting tournament fishing a little bit. And, so that kind of helped, but it wasn't enough to take care of the fish. So I made sure I called a buddy of mine who had a big enough live well to take care of the fish. So that's, that all kind of worked itself out. But now, and I'll just even go off what I currently have on my boat now, especially after the second state record, was just making sure you have adequate. I mean, if you choose to say, try to get that fish certified, whatever the case may be, just make sure you have adequate accommodations for said fish. So like my last boat, it had a big live well, which I had an oxygen system set up in it, all that stuff. And of course my boat now, it's set up twice as good, cause you just never know. Cause I mean, you think you fish a lot, and you just think you'll never catch a state record. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to say that everybody should go out and do stuff like that. But now in my mindset, it's like, it could be the next bite. Every time I go, it could be the next bite. So if it happens again, I know that I'm going to have what I need. Like I said, I got the oxygen. I upgraded my aerators for the live well. I did a lot of different things for my boat to make sure I can accommodate a big fish like that if I get the opportunity to do it again. So, and then of course, obviously for me to keep the phone numbers of all the TWRA agents that I have to get in contact with, just in case or even if anybody else catches a state record, they know to contact me because I'll be able to call all the right people, get all the things in place for that to get certified in a timely manner, get that fish back, if it's able.
So did a certain person have to come out then? I mean, a certain one of the agents, or just any agent can do it, or?
We got to have so here in Tennessee, you got to have, it's not a requirement, but you definitely got to have basically, your basic game board, and you got to have a fishery officer. But then at some point a biologist got to be, involved, and basically their job is to just, verify the species of the fish. It's just check the block type thing. But I know here that's what's got to happen. Definitely a fishery officer, and then a regular game warden, just in case you don't have a license or something or whatever. I mean, a number of things, but just basically just to check the blocks as they're filling out the paperwork, to make sure that once it gets fully certified, nobody can come back later and say this didn't happen or that didn't happen type deal, which I don't know why anybody would ever do that. But that's why when it comes to the first state record, it took so long to get certified, was because it had to go through all the steps, because, this guy's record prior to me, stood for so long, just in case he wanted to, which I don't know why anybody would ever do that, but in case he wanted to say something against it, you know what I mean? Then everything was just, everything was good to go. But the second one, it was like, oh, you again? Okay, yeah, you're good.
Did they think that was crazy? Did the same guys do both fish?
Yes. Yep. Same people, same biologists, same everything.
What'd they say? Were they like?
They were just like that. Matter of fact, the day that it happened, all the officers and agents, they were actually in Nashville. They were getting new computers put in their vehicles, whatever they use in their vehicles. And so anyway, when I had a phone call to the biologist, which he was there getting the same thing done, and I told him about it. He's like, "Oh man, I don't know when we can get to you. We're getting this done." I was like, "Well," I said, "Look, I mean, I already know where the certified scales are. I can meet you guys there, whatever." And so he's like, hold on a second. Well, then the next phone call I got from him was 10 minutes later, and they were booking it from Nashville to get to me. It's like, yep, got me and can't remember, it was another fishery officer, but they were coming down here. They was like, well, yeah, we're not going to miss this. We're not going to miss this because they got to sign off on all that paperwork. So it's kind of neat, you know what I mean? Whenever, and plus, the first state record that I dealt with them, they'd never dealt with it before, right? So it was all new, brand new. That's why it took so long. So the second time, he's like, I know what to do. I'll bring the right paperwork. We're on our way. It's okay.
That's awesome. Gosh, so you've got like paperwork probably for that hanging up in you probably got a pretty cool little trophy room.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. I got the replica up. I've got the 2 rods that I caught the fish on, plus the 2 rods that I got the design on either side of it. It's kind of neat little deal.
What about
I posted pictures of it a while back, but
you got the same rig still?
I do. Matter of fact, here's the. I'll show you. This is the rig that I caught the second state record on.
Was it a fairly new rig, or have you caught some other fish on it before?
I caught some other fish on it. Yeah. It's the exact same rig. As soon as I got home, I just cut it off, and that's where I hung it up there, and that's where it stayed.
Were you ever stressed like, oh, do I have any kind of is the rig not going to last? Like, were you worried about you caught too many fish or maybe have a bare spot in or anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when he surfaced.
Yeah, everything needs to go right to catch that big fish.
Huh? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, when he first surfaced the first time, because it was like he surfaced within the first 20 minutes of me fighting him. He finally rolled to the side of the boat, and I'm like, oh my God. And that's when I knew he was bigger than my previous state record. And then he just went straight back down to the bottom, and there we were back and forth another 20 minutes after that. And of course, he, either he gave up or we both gave up at the same time. Something happened, but he was in the net.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, there's been a lot of state records caught over the last couple of years, even the Kansas and Missouri and, the fish that Jesse caught. I mean, who knows what that could have been. So do you think as the next couple of years, as the sport's growing, anglers are getting better, do you see more state records getting broke?
I do, just for the simple fact of what you just said. That and technology is becoming more involved also. Yeah, exactly what you said. I think it definitely will. Which, I mean, that goes either way. Because when you catch a record fish like that, you bring a lot more pressure to that body of water at that time. Like it happened out here with me. There was a lot of pressure that came out here. It's definitely died off, since then. But you have that surge and whatnot. But so hopefully that doesn't happen a whole lot. But yes, I do think that with the amount of people, that we get to see really out there, I guess it's kind of the neater part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's like I said, I'm just curious in the future. Like the Missouri River is a big fishery. We've
There's some big ones been caught out of there.
five over 100 so far.
Yeah.
They've all been in that Alton area, the Missouri confluence, right where the Mississippi and Missouri come together, up the Missouri River a little bit, and some really big fish even in Pool 26 over the years. It's just a unique fishery there. But like I said, there's just a lot of, when you really think of it, like even the Mississippi River, the Ohio River, it's such a big body of water that there's so much untapped water out there even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even to get down to New Orleans and this area, I mean, it's a lot of water to cover.
Yeah.
A lot of places for fish to hide.
Yeah. And there's a lot of places where fish could just hang out. I mean, like you're talking a big area, not so much a spot, but like a big area that, they would probably never see a hook,
Yeah. And the amount of fish, I always wanted to ask this, the amount of fish that get lost at the boat, or that they couldn't, or that maybe they had that bad rig. They had a state record, a world record on, but their rig just wasn't up to par. They didn't change it. I should have changed that rig, but they throw it in anyways. And then that rig breaks, and it could have been that fish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to go perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a lot of luck when that's involved.
Yeah. He said, just watch the video, Austin, and make a phone call with a state record on the hook. My back was hurting just watching you fight that fish. It's cool. And it's cool. Like, the way you look at it, like even on social media, like you've helped promote more people getting in the sport, doing the GoPros and the action cams, showing, hey, I can do this. I mean, we get messages all the time like, hey, what do we need to use to go live with you on the water? We want to do more videos, and what do you recommend on mics? And like, it's just cool that more and more people are, wanting to get in and wanting to learn and do that. You know what I mean? And that's because there's people like you out there that's helping push that.
Yeah. No, it is cool. Like I said, I get so many messages, like kind of like what you're talking about. So many messages about people either want to start a YouTube channel or do TikTok or Facebook or whatever, figure out what I'm using as far as camera, whatever. And of course, I tell them, but at the same time, I just think back, how many people have actually said this. So, and how many new people to the sport of catfishing that, kind of stumbled upon my channel, and, they comment quite a bit on all my videos about how they're brand to the sport. And it's been a lot, Alex. I will tell you, it's been a lot of people, which it's good. You know what I mean? I'm glad that, one, I can help them out with whatever I'm doing that, they find useful. But it's awesome to see that, like I said, the new people coming to the sport. So, which I don't know what they were doing before, but catfishing is a lot of fun.
It is. And like I said, until you get out, that's why I love taking new people out, the Fishing for Freedom. I mean, we've got some people involved in Fishing for Freedom that, were warriors, and now they got boats and they're fishing and going to some tournaments. Like, it's just crazy. Once you get somebody out there, that's my favorite thing, is taking somebody new. Because I never catch it. I'm like, if it's all you, I ain't touching. I'll be the net man, but I ain't touching nothing. And it's just I'm watching them, catch their first fish in their face. And I remember we won Fishing for Freedom. I think it was 3 years ago. And we, at the very end, I was like, let's throw a decent bait out there. And like, it's 5 minutes till, and we catch like a 35 or flathead or 40 or whatever. And watching him fight it, it was a blast. Like, the fish are going down, and he's fighting it, he's sweating, and I'm laughing. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that's just so much fun. So I don't. And then that person's hooked.
Right.
Yeah. Nice catch. Got pretty 40 pounds. So what is the next video coming out? You got one in the queue?
I do. The next one is the one I filmed today. Like I said, I had to come home. Did pretty good. I broke down some new water. That ought to be pretty interesting for some people. I went to a place I've never fished before. It's on the Tennessee River. I mean, it's local to me, but I've just never fished it before. So I broke down that water and actually had a pretty good day. Caught a sub 40 fish, 40-pound fish, keeners. And I had a good solid 20 on the side of the boat, but I screwed that one up. So you'll have to watch that video to see where I screwed that one up.
And so let people know when you release your videos, and it's when.
Yeah, I do. So my normal release for videos is Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I just started what I call my Q&A Sundays, which is obviously on Sundays. Those are going to be hit or miss. I've been doing pretty good here lately. But I get so many questions, whether it be Facebook or even on my YouTube channels, that I don't have time, or I think it'd be better answered to a broader audience than that one person. So I try to gather all the questions that I get throughout the week and then I answer them all on my Q&A Sunday videos. So those are actually pretty good. There's no fishing. I do cover a lot of fishing stuff, but so far since I started them, I think I did episode 3 this past Sunday, and so far they've gained pretty good traction, because it really is. It's not so much me sitting in front of a camera and telling you my answer.
Yeah.
It's me answering the questions you asked with my best answer, but I create that conversation in the comments, and that's kind of what I wanted to do initially with all my other videos. But I can see where that doesn't work out because I don't really, cover a whole lot of question stuff in those. So I had to I wanted to start making dedicated videos where I covered just that. And so far, man, it's been working out pretty good because, like, there's people that ask me questions I have no answer to. So I ask them right back, and then I'll get 8 or 10 comments that kind of give me an answer. And plus, whoever's watching the video, if they want to look at the comments, they can go back and read the answers or other comments that are in there. And it just creates a conversation without having to do, go live every week. You know what I'm saying? So it works out better for me. But I am going to do some lives. I am going to start doing some lives either on the boat or, here at the house or the shop. So
So that's what Chris Wallace is asking. Are you focusing on any platform more than others or noticing one doing better?
Definitely YouTube is what I'm focused on. Just for the simple fact that I can manage those long form videos a little bit better. Facebook, I've been doing a little bit more stuff on Facebook, but really I focus on YouTube for sure. That's where you're going to find the better content anyway, of mine.
Yeah, I think a lot of long-term content I feel is more YouTube driven, and Facebook and stuff is more of the vertical, more shorts and quick, catchy stuff. You know what I mean? But YouTube is definitely to get your quality stuff. I'd say for the most part, YouTube. I mean, and it's tough. I think it's and that's a good question where. It's if you're good at one, it's hard to be good at all of them or several because it's just a lot to do.
For me, the Facebook thing is kind of it's more of a derivative of what I focus on mainly. So whatever I capture throughout the day fishing, the meat potatoes is going to be on the YouTube, but whatever I can extract from that will fall on Facebook. Whether it be a reel or obviously pictures, posts and stuff like that. But the main stuff is going to be on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Chris asked, are you using any AI tools to help speed your process, like whether it's editing or stuff?
No.
I know some people are, and I know some people have tried. I think it'll be very interesting what I'm seeing for the future. I don't know, I like the AI, but then I hate it. Like there's so much crazy crap out there.
I'll tell you for me personally, the editing software that I have that I use, yes, there is an AI option on it. Problem is that you're going to get the AI generated version of you when that happens. And it's definitely not you. Like I took a video, and I, clipped it down to where I thought it was an okay video, and it was wasn't going to post anyway. But then I went through and I played with it. I seen the video. I'm like, wow, that doesn't capture anything I wanted to capture. Now I understand it's a learning tool. I could probably do it 2 or 3 more times, or be able to be more specific of what I wanted to pull out or emphasize on. But no, the best way to do it is just I sit down and I do it. I take my 2 hours and I knock out a video. That way I can capture, the moments I want to capture in the video. So it's it's stuff like that. I mean, there are obviously, like you said, there was AI stuff. I'm sure it's easier, but I mean, I think
it goes back to it's not you. And I think it'll be very interesting. Like I think if you're getting into it now. If you're going to do the AI, like, I don't know the longevity of AI. I think you're going to start seeing, that getting caught in some of the algorithms where they don't want that. I don't know. It was going to be very interesting for the future, for sure.
I agree with you.
Self is the most important thing. Like being a true good person and people get to know you. Like that's how you grow your brand.
Yeah, you got to be what do they call that? Personable, I guess.
Yes.
You got to be relatable. That's the biggest one. But you're not going to get that from any computer generated something or other. You got to be able to know what you're doing and have the heart in what you're doing, and that definitely shows when you're trying to edit videos. For sure, you got to have it. That's the only way people connect with you. So.
But it'd be interesting for the future, and like I said, the more and more people that are getting into it and looking up to the guys that are doing it, that are all in, and it's it's a lot more people are getting all in. That's that's what I've noticed. A lot of reels and shorts that are AI created seem like they're cut short, but they can also lead more people to seek out the long form video. So, too many fake videos with AI have already got people hating it. Yeah, I don't know. AI is crazy because even today I got caught up on a picture that I seen of somebody at the Super Bowl, and I'm like, it wasn't real. It was an AI person. Like it's getting so good that it's hard to tell. Like I follow some Facebook pages that are making a lot of money on completely AI, and I'm just like, I hate it, but it's all, they're making money with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But who knows how long that'll last? Maybe it will. So Chris said he wasn't really meaning the generated stuff, but more like tools, like even like a thumbnail generator. Like, do you create your own thumbnails? Do you have somebody help you create your own thumbnails?
No, I create my own thumbnails, and they're typically pretty simple. Sometimes, I got templates. There's templates I can use to overlay the picture that I choose for my thumbnail. But outside of that, no, it's just basically I just take a picture out of the video, and that becomes my thumbnail. But yeah, I can see where you're talking about that, but no, I don't do it personally.
Yeah, AI is good for advertising, not so much for real videos. Yeah, it's crazy. Like for this fishing expo, I created one flyer, did it myself, put a ton of work into it because I'm like OCD about it. And then Chris Wallace, like he made one in AI, and it looks like it's in your face and it looks good. It's crazy. And then I went back, I made the payout schedule flyer for the Alton Classic, and I'm getting good at Canva, or trying to get good at Canva. I hate the AI stuff because usually it looks a little like, if I try to do like a catfish flyer, the catfish looks like it's a bass with a big mouth. Weird.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create a lot of that myself. It's just, it takes time, but with anything, the more time you put in, the better you get, the faster you get. But it's fun. I don't know, the flyer stuff's always, I've usually hired people, but sometimes it's hard to get, a lot of people. Everybody's busy doing other things. So I'm trying to become a flyer designer or a graphics designer, which I'm not good at graphics, but I try. So if you see something that I design that looks a little crappy, hey, I'm trying. I didn't do very good in art class. So.
Right.
See, this is what I like right here. Sorry. My concrete guy, he says, I'll be at the Classic, have the check ready. He said that for the last 3 years. And the weigh-in's done, and I call him, I say, hey, can I close the scales yet? Because you ain't showed up yet. He just, So yeah, any last words, any piece of advice? Gosh, we've been on this for over 2 hours. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, no, the only thing I got to say is I look forward to hanging out with you at the expo. Those of you that's watching, I'll definitely be there. Come by, say hi. I'll be out and about for sure. I don't have any one specific place I'll be hanging out at, but I'll be walking around. I'm a tackle nerd, and so I'll be probably everywhere as far as that goes. So yeah, so come on out and see us, join us, have a good time, because I think it's going to be a good deal.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool things. You know, if you've been following the vendor list and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I have.
It's wild. Like, so we're taking Doug, my rod partner's boat, off his trailer, and then we're gonna have Gatorback that does like the lighted bunks. They're gonna do that to his trailer, so you can see what that looks like firsthand. And then we got a company that does the engine chipping. Like, so if you have a 200 horse and you want to take it to a 3 something, like they do that. So they'll be here. You can talk to them. We've got bank rod holders, fishing rods, crappie, catfish. We got a bass guy that's coming. We got some really good seminars. It's just crazy. Like, it's going to be big. I'm super pumped. We got Fish Lung coming that does. They've got their oxygen system for boats. Tons of tackle. Tackle Bandit will be there. So pretty much anything you can imagine. And we've even got a caramel. It's called Apples Gone Wild or Apples Gone Crazy. One of those. And it's these awesome caramel apples. Just a lot of cool. It's going to be a fun show. Super excited, and some really good speakers. So if you haven't, tickets are available. They're $10 a ticket for general admission, get you in both days, and a chance to win a CRC 1648. And then a $35 ticket gets you in an hour early, a T-shirt, and 2 chances to win the CRC. And like I said, it's just a bunch of cool things. The expo place, this place is awesome. I'm actually at the Renaissance Convention Center right now. And it's a cool place. You can see the backdrop there. It's right next to the Bass Pro. And I'll be going over all that stuff on the Twisted Cat Outdoors Fishing Expo page and on this page. But if you have questions about it at all, let me know. And like I said, and a lanyard, yeah. So super excited for it. And we got some big things coming. And Micah, you're going to probably be on this 1v1 challenge. I don't know who you're going to face, though. But
that'd be all right.
So soon after this show, we're going to really hit heavily on that. And yeah, you'll see some discounted stuff on rods and tackle, and there'll be a lot of boats. We're going to have a G3 here, Monster Cat, CRC. I think we're going to have a side-by-side. I mean, just a lot of really cool things. And the coolest thing that I'm most excited about, we're going to have a mechanical bull. We're gonna have to do some bets on who can last the longest on a mechanical bull, but
right.
It was a lot of fun to have you. I'm excited to see it here in less than like 10 days.
Right.
I can't believe that it's almost here, and yeah, super awesome. And then tomorrow night, yes, somebody asked, tomorrow night CRC owners events, the crappie CRC owners and the CRC owners catfish event will open up tomorrow night. We'll be live on the CRC page at 7:00, going over all the rules and stuff like that. And other than that, we hope to see you at the TCO Fishing Expo here in Memphis, Tennessee, the 20th and 21st. It's going to be a good show. And Mike will have to do this again. Probably the next time you'll be on a boat somewhere and we'll be doing it live. And you'll be fishing.
That'd be perfectly fine with me.
So, yeah, I see some Micah versus Spencer. So, yeah, that's cool. Like I said, I want to kind of get a mix of people, obviously people that can help bring, build the sport. I think, 12 different people. Just and have some fun with it. So,
yeah.
Well, hey, I had a blast with you, man. 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I feel like we just barely scratched the surface. So, everybody,
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no, thanks, man, for coming on. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching this and it's already been recorded and you got questions, shoot Micah or myself a message or ask on here. We'll try to keep up with the chat, but we appreciate everybody watching us tonight, and we'll see you soon. See you on the water.